Very warm welcome to Thornton Le Dale Parish Council meeting of Tuesday the 3rd of September 2024, and I'll start off as I always do with a gentle reminder about mobile phones to silent, please. Thank you very much. The format of the meeting hasn't changed. We'll start off with a public session for 15 minutes and I will invite any questions from the floor. I don't think we've had any emailed in, have we, Jenny, in advance? No. So we'll do our best to answer any questions that might be forthcoming. Then we'll have the Parish Council meeting as per the agenda, and you would have seen from the agenda that there is no closed session. Conduct is as per standing orders, and I can see that we're being videoed and orderly recorded in line with the openness of the local government regulations. So, without further ado, I shall move to the congregation and just inquire if there's any questions for us this evening. Anybody got a question? No? No? Splendid. Okay, well without further ado then we'll move to the formal matters of the Parish Council meeting, which is clearly held in public but not a public meeting, and it's 7:02 and I'll formally declare the meeting open. And we will start with agenda item number 148, and that is to receive apologies for absence. We have received apologies from Councillor Markham. Councillor Markham is entertaining family, I believe, this evening, is unable to attend, and I think, unless there's any other comment, that that's quite a reasonable excuse for absence. 149 is to receive declarations of interest of any items on the agenda, and I'll open that up to members first of all. Any? No? Okay, but I myself would like to declare an interest in agenda item 2425152, in as much as that I have had recent correspondence with the Principal Planning Authority. So what I intend to do, unless anybody's got any objection, is to introduce this item agenda, but I will not participate in any discussions that may be forthcoming. And if you feel that there's any in-depth discussions to be had, I'm quite happy to remove myself from the room. Agenda item 150 is to confirm and sign the minutes of the Parish Council meeting held on the 13th of August, which we have a copy here. Are there any comments at all from members with regards to the minutes of the last PCM?
Just this.
Rebecca. Yeah.
The voting wasn't unanimous for the fencing on Beck Isle.
Thornton Le Dale Beck Isle fencing. So that was 2425142 G. To receive and consider plan for the village upkeep and maintenance caretaker. Item 1 was to update with regards to Thornton Le Dale Beck Isle fencing. The clerk gave an update that the parks have instructed a contractor to perform full replace repairs of fencing. It was voted and agreed by all council members to contribute a donation of £500. And I think what you're going to say is that it wasn't agreed by all, was it?
No, two didn't. No.
Yeah, 2 didn't agree. We didn't have a recorded vote on that, but we can change that to the majority, couldn't we? Mm-hmm. So that would be the motion that I will propose, that the by all council members is removed from that item agenda. That agenda item, and replaced by majority vote. Just need a seconder for that. Unless it's David, thank you. All in favour of that amendment? Yeah. That's everybody then. Okay, thank you. Any other amendments or comments with regards to the minutes? No. No? Okay. Happy to sign and date with regards to things then. Jenny. Sorry, David. Cheers, thank you. 151, to consider and note ongoing matters arising from previous PCMs and business. And A, is to receive and consider an update with regards to the parish clock repair, including an update from the diocese. And I think, Rebecca, is that you, or?
Yeah. The diocese did a report, which we are not allowed to put up on our website. I did email them, they said no. So we can't disclose that to everybody, which is a shame really. Cumbrian clocks have been, and they have quoted, and it is a like for like, so we won't need the faculty.
Okay.
The price is £2,720 net, and they would require a 30% deposit of £1,000. He did get the clock, he did set the clock off again, but he did say that it would lose time as it had been. And what he did say is that he'd like to get it, if we go with it, he would like to get it installed ASAP before the clock change, which is in the end of October.
Good.
Okay.
So is the VAT on that?
Yeah.
To go on that?
Yeah.
Plus the VAT. Which is not far off from what Smiths of Derby quoted when they came with the initial quotation. So essentially we've got two quotations, have we not? One from Smiths and one from Cambrian.
Yeah.
Essentially for the same work.
Well, no, it'd be different because if we went with Smiths, we'd have to get a faculty.
Right.
Not only would we have to get a faculty, we have to get an electrician in as well,
Okay.
which we would probably need another faculty for that.
Was that included on the quotation?
No.
It wasn't.
The electrician wasn't included.
Okay. But Cumbrian clocks
It's,
included?
yeah,
Okay.
using the existing electricity,
Yeah.
it actually said.
Okay, well, as we're all aware, this parish clock repair has been rumbling on for quite some time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It would be really nice to crack on and get it sorted. Not only for the clock change in October, but for Remembrance Sunday in November. Wouldn't it be nice to get it done for that? So I guess council have got to make a decision now in terms of, we have got two quotations following two separate inspections.
That's a good question.
Yeah, of course.
Rebecca or David, could you remind me how much money is in the fundraising pot?
3,500 and something. Don't know exactly.
Just roughly.
It's about 3,700, yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
3 cents.
Yes,
Yes,
So
we
there's
have
enough-
some more added in there, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 3,700.
Yeah.
Because we always said the first call will be on the clock,
Mm.
so that needs to be paid first and then anything else.
And also there's
And also, I did actually ask him about, because I got the impression way back that what we need replacing was never serviced by Smiths. And so I did ask him about servicing the clock and this one, because neither have been serviced for some time. But he did give a quote for the parish clock up in All Saints, and it was £215 net to have it serviced, but it would be the new bit as well in next year.
So is that on top of the,
Yes.
Yes.
2,000?
Yeah, because we have the
Having
clock
annual
service.
does that have to be done now with the 2,720? So it'd be actually two, now where it's near 3,000.
Well, yeah, because neither clocks have been serviced for
Yeah.
18 months. Probably a little bit more than 18 months.
So by the sounds of it, you've used your initiative and thought, well, if you're here anyway and you're going to do the
Yeah.
replacement, repair, you might as well service it at the same time.
That's right.
But there'll be an additional cost for
There
that.
will be additional costs. It's 215 net for the church, and I don't think he actually quoted for the Hill Institute. He did actually come and have a look at the Hill Institute clock,
Mhm.
but he said they could do both.
Okay.
Sorry, another question. So the money that was raised from the fundraising that Claire and I were involved in, that's going to pay for the church clock?
Yes,
Parish clock.
the parish clock.
clock, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
So does the Hill Institute clock come out of parish council funds,
Yes,
not the
it does.
fundraising
Yeah.
funds?
oh,
With-
you mean for the service?
Yeah.
Well,
But it's owned by the parish council.
the parish council have always paid for the service for both clocks.
Oh, right. So it's not coming out of the fundraising pot?
Well, no, it'll come from normal parish council
Yeah,
funds,
right.
because I believe it was donated to the Hill Institute. Right.
It's just in feeding back to the fundraising group, they'll want to know how the money that they've raised is
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah,
spent.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
So are we saying we're only spending 2720 plus VAT? Or are we saying we're spending 2720 plus 215 for the parish clock? And then there's the other one to do.
Yeah.
Is that,
Can you-
I'm
can
just
you
trying to be
put-
clear.
Can you put it through the parish council to be able to get the VAT back or not?
Oh, yes, because the bill will come to Thornton Le Dale Parish
Yeah.
Council, so we can get the VAT back. For both.
Just not clear.
Yeah, no, that's completely clear to me. And I think it's only right and fair that the fundraising money is spent as it was always intended to repair the parish
Right.
clock.
Yeah.
It was never fundraising money raised to
service it.
service it.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear
Yeah.
definition. Okay, so unless there's any other comments, there's a couple of things from that. The first is that we have got two quotes, the original from Smiths and the second one from Cumbrian Clocks, which Rebecca has gone through the details of both. I'm going to propose that we accept the one from Cumbrian Clocks, who have indicated that they can crack on with the repairs and get it sorted hopefully by October. I just need a seconder for that. Rebecca,
I'll second
thank
it.
you. So all in favour of going with Cumbrian Clocks? That's unanimous, thank you. And just to be clear, the cost of that will come out of the fundraising ring-fenced money.
Yeah.
The second point to come out of that is annual servicing. If the engineers are going to be here to
I'll have
undertake this
another word.
work, it
Yeah.
would make sense if
Yeah.
they could come and annually service both clocks.
Yeah,
But bearing in mind that the money for that will come out of parish
Parish.
council funds
Yes.
and not the thingy. So will you come back to us
I
with
will.
what they say with
Yeah.
regards to
well,
that?
we'll need a deposit of £1,000 is what they'll,
Yeah,
Just a point then, had we better make a decision on that, bearing in mind that if they come to do the clock replacement, they might as well do the servicing whilst they're here,
yeah, because we
rather
won't,
than wait till the next parish council
yeah, we
meeting
won't need
for
to.
us to make another decision,
Yeah.
which might be after that.
Yeah, I think on the basis of the 200 and, what was it, 15
215 for the
Net.
parish clock.
for the parish clock, and I presume there'll be slightly less for this one,
Usually is.
just in common sense wise. It's a something that the parish council have to undertake every year anyway, isn't it? But the funds would come out of parish council funds. So, yeah, okay. Well, the proposal would be then to instruct Cumbrian Clocks to undertake annual service of both clocks at the same time. Just need a seconder for that.
I'll second it. Oh, John seconded it, yeah.
All in favour? Thank you. And then we will just have to get definitive quotation for what that was going to cost us. Okay, right, lovely. Thank you very much. Anything further on the parish clock repair?
Could I ask how long is the warranty for, or, the
Well, I
guarantee?
think the last one was 10 years. But the fact that it had never really been serviced, so it makes sense to have it regularly checked.
Yeah. Okay, lovely, thank you. Okay, 151B, to receive and adopt the proposed new model for the NALC, that's the National Association of Local Councils Financial Regulations. This has appeared a couple of times. Draft document was released to all parish councils. If I remember rightly, John suggested that we reviewed it to make sure it met our needs. That was tasked to the, was it the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee, yeah.
We went away and had a look at it. I think, Jenny, you had some input with it as well. And then we've got to a position where it reappears this evening. So the question is, I think,
Well, everybody should have had a copy.
oh, that's right, yeah, I read that intently.
Yeah, everybody should have had a copy. So, yeah, it's a matter of anybody's got any comments on it before we
June.
Sorry, this is my second main comment of the night. I'm not going to be a pest. Under 6.15 of the new regulations, and I was really addressing this to the chair and to the clerk, Jenny, it does say, it talks about where a clerk has got things like person identification numbers, passwords, access to council records on the computer, PIN numbers, keys, that information on that would be put in a sealed envelope by the clerk, handed to the chair, so if either the clerk or the chair leaves, that envelope is opened in the presence of two witnesses and business can carry on. So I've got two questions. The first one is to Phil as chair. Did the former locum clerk hand you an envelope with that information in?
The short answer is no.
Thought that would be the case.
Mm-hmm.
The old financial regs had that same paragraph in, so that should have happened with the old locum clerk. My second question, Jenny, is hopefully you've done this. You've
Phil's got the
Yeah,
sealed envelope.
Yeah, I can confirm I've got a sealed envelope.
I just think we need it on the record because
Yeah, no,
there's been a lot of conversations about things being available,
sure.
and this is in the financial regs, so it's
Yeah.
requirement.
Yeah,
But-
no,
But
sorry.
it also comes up under financial risk management as
Yeah.
well, which is another paper.
Yeah.
And that's quite comprehensive about what should happen, so, you know.
Yeah, no, Jenny has indeed given me a sealed envelope with bits and bobs in it, and I presume it meets with the regs, because she is obviously our RFO as well, and has read the regs. So, are we then proposing, or does somebody from the Finance Committee want to propose adoption as the regs as they was previously circulated?
Well, I'd like to propose that the regs, as previously circulated, are adopted.
Thank you, David, got that. Just need a seconder.
I'll second them.
Rebecca or June. Right, so the motion is to adopt as previously circulated. All in favour?
Yep.
That's everybody. Okay, thank you. 151C, to receive an update on banking matters, including the Virgin Media mandate.
It seems to have gone for ever and ever and ever. We think we've got to the end of it. I spoke to Emmanuel Terry, who's our business relations manager, only last week, and he has given approval for the mandate and sent it for actioning
Actioning in, yeah. Mhm,
So
okay.
yeah, we'd expect any day to have. I don't know if you've had any updates or.
Haven't
Yeah.
received anything.
Okay, it's got your email address.
Okay.
They've got your email address, so you would expect to hear something, hopefully. in the next
Okay.
few days. But yeah, it has been.
Right, thank you. Thank you for all the work that you've done on that. We thought Barclays was bad, but Virgin just seemed to be
Yeah,
equally as bad. Maybe it's just banking. I don't know. But
because at the present we're limited to the maximum amount we can pay out because obviously the previous local clerk and one of our council members are on the ultimate sanction
yeah.
for
Okay.
maximum
So does
payments.
that mean she'll be coming off?
Yes,
And what about Councillor Markham? Because she was
coming
on.
off. She said she wants to come off.
Right.
So yeah, the local clerk will come off and so will council at her request, which is minuted at.
They've got a copy of the signed minutes of
Yeah.
Virgin.
Right.
Yeah, they've all got a copy of the minutes, so they know exactly what's going on there.
Can we leave that on then, Jenny, just to bring it back until we've got confirmation
Yeah.
from Virgin that that's been completed as hoped? Thank you. 151D, to receive and consider updates from the parish plan group. June, this is you.
Yes, just briefly, we're meeting every 2 weeks. We've lost 2 members who decided it's not for them, so it's a small group now, 5 of us. We have produced a small flyer that will go into every household to just explain what it is and promote the consultation in October. We are mindful of the budget, that we've only got £1,000 and we've readdressed that within the group, so that's good. And we've got some ideas for the questionnaire areas. So the really important thing about the plan is to encourage people to come, so encourage your friends, your neighbours to come. Because if you're not involved in how this village is going to look in the future, then I just think it'd be a real, missed opportunity. So say this leaflet, it's a small leaflet, will come through people's doors saying, please come along, have your say, help us do the questionnaire, and then we can pull a plan together. And we've got our next meeting next Monday.
Okay. Yeah, lovely. Well, I'd just like to echo and highlight the fact that we have got this parish lane group, so if anybody's interested in coming along to the meetings and wants to get involved, please do so. Okay. 151E. Late entrant. Welcome. Come and take a seat. 151E, to consider the plan for the village upkeep and maintenance caretaker. The first is an update with regards to Thornton Le Dale Beck fencing concerns. Parks, I think, have indicated, have they not, Jenny, September?
They haven't given us a date.
Okay.
They're waiting for the contractor to.
Right.
It was penciled in, I spoke to Jack, and it is penciled in, he said.
Penciled in.
September.
Right, okay. There we are.
When was that?
When he was putting our footpath, August, beginning of August.
This is last week.
Oh, really?
It's something to do with the sawmill.
Right.
Sawmill,
As
yeah.
in,
Okay.
like the posts.
Right.
I mean, ideally,
We
from
just haven't got it.
from a village parish point of view, it would be nice to have it repaired prior to the Christmas lights installation, or even the
They
switch
start
on
in
event.
September.
Hmm?
They start in September.
Switch on the 7th, isn't
The switch on event is on the 7th of December,
You can
but
start putting the lights up.
it? 9th of October.
8th
of October.
8th of
Right.
October, right, yeah, thank you. All right, well, there's nothing that we can influence there, we'll just keep it on the agenda for an update. 2, cemetery moles, how are we getting on with the moles?
I haven't been up for a while because I haven't been around.
Right,
She did come middle of August,
right.
and obviously she will have come back the week after. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything since.
Mark's not.
He's not complained.
Right, okay.
So that's a good sign.
Okay, so the caretaker's
Yeah.
not been vocal about it being bad up there, but the mole catcher has
Yeah.
actively been engaged up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that came middle of August.
Okay. Perhaps keep that on then until
We've got them all.
we've caught them all.
Be one.
3, salt bins. Salt bins or grit bins. Action needed. We have to go back to Parish Council meeting of the 7th of November 2023, where the Parish Council resolved to not adopt 5 grit bins that North Yorkshire Council proposed to remove unless we wanted them. There was one on Westgate, there was one on Roxbury Road,
South Lane.
there was 2 on South Lane, and there was this one here on the green.
Yeah.
But the parish council currently own the one down at Heron Close, which is a big one that
Yeah.
isn't being used, and so we were going to move that one up to the green, weren't we? Action is needed because as we approach those dark, cold autumnal evenings, we want to
Have John
redistribute resources for the benefit of the parishioners
Yeah.
of Thornton Le Dale, and ensure that we maintain as best we can the health and safety of pedestrians by having suitable grit reserves available, which is basically removing it from the bins that are going to be removed and putting it in the bins that are going to stay, isn't it, really? Any thoughts on how we go about that?
Well, I think the important one is to get the Heron Close one moved to where Greg wants it round Montpellier.
Yeah. Where that one currently sits.
That's the one they're taking away.
Yeah, but if we do it first, then they'll
Might take
come
that
along
away.
and take the one away that we've moved.
Right.
Yeah. So how's about we take the grit out of that one and put it in Heron Close,
Yeah,
so they can take an empty one.
And who's going to carry the full one? It's a big one.
Well,
Is that one empty in Where is it? Heracles.
Yeah, just on here.
I would imagine they all have quite a bit of residue in them because they wouldn't be filled for the winter, and last winter we didn't use hardly any.
We need a friendly farmer with a set of thoughts.
Yeah, we'll just go.
Look, Mike's got a job.
Did discuss this with John
Yeah,
some time ago, so it is in hand.
we have a volunteer with a trailer. And it's just a matter of
Getting some
where we
volunteers.
actually put the salt and some volunteers to,
Shall we leave this on? We'll leave it on. John, if you want to try and develop it as best you can,
we'll liaise and
if that's
decide,
okay.
come up with a common
Yeah.
plan.
That'd be great. Got a hand up? Yeah? Is it?
The one on Roxby Road, could you tell me where it is?
It's the one right opposite two others. So it's the top of the terrace on the corner.
The one on the top of the terrace, we use a lot to come down the terrace because it's lethal down there.
Yeah. And I think there's another one halfway down the terrace, which is
No.
why there's not one there.
No, it's just the one at the top.
Yeah,
And without that, we're absolutely sunk.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the one on the corner, and then there's one opposite, you see, which is why North Yorkshire want to take that one away. So the one there are two up there. It would just be a question of using the other one to get the grit to do
We
the
might,
terrace.
might
Roxby
have to
Terrace.
relocate the other one once.
We could, yeah, we
once
could look at that.
because I think the second one is somewhere near the doctor's surgery, I think.
Right, and there's a big one on the corner, isn't there?
Yeah.
Castle Road. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll
Thank you.
yeah, we'll make sure that they're in the right place that they need to be. Put it that way. Okay. 151F. To receive and consider insurance policy cover in line with the internal audit report of 23-24, highlighted by Rachel Pearson, the internal auditor. Questions around our insurance cover. And David, at the last parish council meeting, you very kindly volunteered to go away and look at it.
Yeah, well, our current insurers are Gallagher, underwriters Hiscock. I was asked, or I suggested that we went to NFU to get a quote. I went to the NFU, had a meeting with Rob at Pickering. He took down our details, and then 2 or 3 days later came back and said the underwriters wouldn't entertain us because it was complex. So he knows we're with Gallagher, and he said, to be honest, the NFU would have pushed our business onto Gallagher anyway, because they specialise in it. So he suggested we were with the right people. Having said that, I think it's in the interest of the council that we have quotes from others, and I think Jenny, you suggested that we go to Zurich and have a look at their quote as well. But a little disappointed in a few, but at least they were honest up front and said it's not our bag, which is fair enough.
Okay.
So if I could suggest that perhaps Jenny, if we have a look at Zurich and see if they can
Yeah, sure.
come up with something. But there's also an issue with the some of the asset values as well.
Which leads us nicely on to G, doesn't it? To receive and consider update actions to the asset register and the risk assessment.
Yeah.
Without knowing what or having an accurate picture of the parish council's asset register and risk assessment, we can't really go to an insurance provider and see quotations for cover, can we?
No.
Sorry,
fortunately our renewal isn't due till the 27th of November, so it gives us a little bit of time to really have a good look at our assets and see whether they're valued correctly and whether they're all on here, because 2 or 3 of us in the finance group have had a look through the assets and they're not all on there, to be honest, from the previous council. So
this agenda item came about from the last parish council meeting.
yeah.
And I remember, John, you came up with an idea that we perhaps should consider as a council to delegate a review of the asset register and risk assessment to the finance committee to go away and look at this.
Because there are 2 considerations there. There's first of all the insurance value of an asset, and then there is the actual value of the asset itself.
Yeah.
So, for example, the shed in the cemetery, to replace that, should it be demolished by goodness knows what, like typhoon or low-flying aeroplane, then there would be a cost to replace it, so an insurance value. In terms of it, as it stands as an asset, we couldn't sell it. It's in the middle of the cemetery, its value is, and we have it on the asset register, its value is £1.
It's
So,
not £1 on the asset register.
is it not? Is it
It's
zero?
10,000.
It's 10,000 on the asset register, and it's insured.
So there's a difference between the insurance value
Yeah.
and the actual value of the
Yeah.
asset.
It's insured for £20,593, so that's the insurance value on the Gallagher insurance.
Which may be about correct, but the actual value of the asset to the council, we couldn't realise it. So
Yeah.
it's actually,
And this problem is not unique to this parish council. Having had previous conversations to Jenny, who has access to forums and such like, parish councils throughout the land have this similar problem. But there seems to be a common sense approach that we really should perhaps consider ourselves so that we get it right and they're kind of in line with what other parish councils are doing. And then go to an insurance provider and make sure that we've got the right. And am I right in thinking that that's what the internal auditor is looking for?
I think what they're looking for is to make sure that we have enough insurance.
Sure.
They think we're underinsured.
Yeah.
For which particular items?
They didn't say.
Yeah,
I
so this is-
think that the figure that was quoted in the audit report is circa 55k.
Oh.
So, and they think that
Yeah,
means that we're underinsured. that's
Yeah,
all.
well, the previous asset register was 130,000. I looked it up. So it went from 130,000 down to about 56.
so what we could really do with is an asset valuation policy, so that the council each year values the assets by using the same principles. Because I suspect that over the years, as clerks have changed and councillors have changed, people have taken a different view as to the value of the assets that we own or
Yeah.
and insure. So I think that's where the variations occurred. And if we had an asset valuation policy, then at least any subsequent council to ourselves, the subsequent clerk, would know what principles we use to value the assets and hopefully would follow the same principles.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't get the huge variation in asset valuations that we have at the moment.
We could ask advice of YLCA because they do every now and again provide up-to-date templates of how to record your assets, as we've used one at Lockton, so it might be worth just asking them what's the latest in terms of guidance.
Okay.
There may be a directive as to how council should value assets for insurance purposes and for...
Absolutely. Well, we want to adopt best practice, don't we? And we want to make sure we got it right.
But crucially, we have got employers' liability of £10 million and we have got public and product liability of £10 million as well. So this idea that we're vastly underinsured, I think, I don't really go on with that at the moment.
The only thing I couldn't find when I looked on the asset register, the village green. There was no land registry for the village green. Wasn't on the website. Whether or not it's in the documents that we haven't got. But village green, couldn't find anything.
That's on the land registry.
Couldn't find anything on the land registry in connection with it.
We found the two snickets, didn't we?
We found the two snippets.
Between Roxbury Road and Crescent. They're registered.
They're registered.
And we found
Beckisle is common land that was registered, the Ramblers Association
1972.
1972 registered as common land.
And is the Pulford one.
We've got the.
No, the whole field is just registered as land. It's
Yeah.
not common land, it's just
Yeah,
agricultural.
but it's on the land registry.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah,
on the
yeah,
land
yeah,
registry,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so is the
So-
allotments in the cemetery.
Yeah.
And the village green is missing.
The village green is
Yeah.
missing.
The cross is there.
The cross is there, but the actual land, the land registry is missing.
Okay, there's a lot come out of that, but I have summarised it as following. Can we take item F forward, which is the insurance policy cover, which we can't really progress until we've undertaken item G, and I'm going to propose that this work stream is delegated to the Finance Committee with an intention of liaising with Jenny and the YLCA for advice about three things. The first is an asset valuation policy. The second is review of the asset register, and that will encompass what should be on it, what's missing, and what the values are. And the third is linking in really with the risk assessment around those assets. We've got until the end of November. It doesn't have to be a very detailed asset register, because that is a living document, isn't it? And if we feel that we need to make some changes, then we can do without any.
One of the major items, as we discussed, was the street lights, and whether they were purchased, invoiced to show they were purchased by the council. They're not on any insurance, which is quite concerning, because they've got a value at the time of 40,000 quid. Now, presumably not all the street lights are going to get mown down by a car in one fell swoop, we hope. But nevertheless, they're not on the insurance, so that's something we're going to consider. And the other ones were the church clock, which, again, who is responsible for the insurance on that? Yes, we might own it. Are we insured because it's in someone else's premises? I don't know. And same with the Hill Institute as well. So these are ones we sort of dragged up when we had our little meetings.
Okay, that's the proposal then, is to delegate to the Finance Committee. Just need a seconder for that.
Can I just ask, we found phase 3 of the lights. Do we know if there's any more phases that are taking place? If we have any more lights to pay for?
As far as I know, it was 3 phase.
So it looks like we've paid.
I think we've paid everything.
We've paid everything.
Okay.
Worth noting though, there were, I think we had an option of 2 periods of guarantee, and I think it was 10 years and 20 years, and we opted for the 10-year guarantee.
Right.
So any faults that arise on streetlights should be covered by a guarantee for at least the next 7 years, I would have thought.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, delegate to the Finance. Just need a seconder then.
So before you go, can I also bring in the financial risk assessment, which will be also part of that as well?
Yeah, that's
I've been
the third
looking into-
element. That's
I've
the
been
third
looking
element.
into that one. And
You will be, yeah.
I haven't already, and I'll be back, you know,
Okay.
some.
All right, brilliant. So we're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Do you want to second it then?
Yeah.
All in favour then?
Yes.
Everybody, right, thank you. Good. H, receive, consider update on the almshouses. This was you, wasn't it, Claire? But
Oh, yeah. There's not a lot going on just yet. The architect is coming on the 17th of September to look at re-roofing, because there's a lot of damage, a lot of water leakage, and I think we're going to have to have a big rebuild of that.
Yeah, oh dear.
There's going to be some interviews tomorrow for an administration clerk, because Margaret's sort of slightly retiring off and she needs some help, so we're doing that tomorrow. But other than that, until the meeting on the 17th when the architect's comes.
Okay.
So
Not really know what's going to happen
No, not
next.
till then.
All right. Should we keep that on for next
Yeah,
time?
that'd be good.
Okay, thank you. I, 151I, to receive and consider update from the Forest and Dale Community Flood Prevention Group.
Yeah.
David.
Yeah, okay. Just an update really. I don't know how much people know about this one, but anyway, Forest and Dale Community Flood Prevention Group set up to look at the potential, or the corridor, the A170 corridor, look at potential of flooding either that's taken place or could take place in the future. It incorporates the villages of Thornton Le Dale, Wilton, Eberston, Snainton. That's it, yeah. Sitting on the committee of myself as chair, and then we've got Mark Henderson from the North Yorkshire Flood Risk. He's a flood risk manager. Paddy Chandler, who's the locality lead for North Yorkshire Council. Councillor Sanderson, Ellen Jackson from the Community Development Officer, and David Jeffels from North Yorkshire Council, and Sue Nells, who's from Eberston, she's a councillor, and Jenny, you do the note taking and administration, etc. So the idea of this group is to look at the potential risks for flooding. Some of them we know already because last winter, obviously, anybody who went through Eberston would realise that it was absolutely horrendous. It was pouring down the road, across the main road, and flooding out properties halfway through and at the bottom of Eberston. So we set up this group to look into ways of trying to prevent the flooding. We have been given, very generously actually, a grant of £20,000, and that's not for this council, this is for the actual working group, to cover any sort of activities we deem necessary to hopefully prevent flooding in the future. North Yorkshire Highways only have an annual budget of £100,000, which seems a lot of money, but it doesn't go anywhere. So very limited to the amount of money that can be spent. Two areas we've identified as priorities, probably Snainton and Eberston, although we know we've got problems here in Thornton Le Dale, particularly going at Wickgate and out towards the to the waterworks there as well. So there's a few of us, I mean myself and Janet and one or two of the other councillors have been out on various missions. We've been about 3 or 4 times to look at these areas. We're due to go out on Thursday again to go to Snainton and go up into the hills and look at potential problems there which are causing flooding. It's quite a complex business, but it's an extremely interesting one. And I say Mark Henderson, who's the flood risk manager, came and did a presentation and mapped the areas of interest, and it's really quite complex but extremely interesting. Janet, is there anything I have to add on that?
No, only that we've got to spend this 20,000 within a year, and it's on feasibility and pilot scheme rather than addressing as much as addressing the problem.
Yeah.
So really, basically, that money is to test: does this work, and can it be done in other areas of North Yorkshire? That's why we've been given so much for such a small area to test out.
But we can use the money for certain projects to alleviate the problem of flooding.
No, it is interesting work, and it's very complex.
It's complex, but extremely interesting.
And I think the mapping thing was interesting. I was talking about this today in Cabinet, where we had the Highways Authority and the Flood Authority in the same room, and they all thought they knew each other's mapping, but it became quite clear that Highways didn't understand the mapping of the waterways, and then we had that local knowledge on top of that. And actually what they discussed today in Cabinet was that actually if you put children's services and adult social care on top of that, then when there's a flood issue, actually you can pull in the whole of that mapping and say, how can we get vulnerable children and adults out? How can we provide services to them in that? So there was a bigger picture than what we're looking at this level as well. So yeah, very interesting work.
So it's an ongoing project. I find it fascinating, and as I say, just going out on our various little trips, we've learned so much, haven't we, from potential hazards and dangers. But I'd have to say, last winter was particularly exceptional rainfall event. It might not happen again, but that's not the point. The point is, if we can prevent it, I'll prevent it then. All well and good. So unless anybody's got any questions on that, it's just work continues. So we've got a visit on Thursday, 3 of us, and myself and Sue from Eberston. So we're going there and having a look.
Where's that money coming into? Is it going to a particular bank account? Is it who's looking after it?
I don't know. I mean, I'd imagine the council, North Yorkshire Council,
I think they'll hang on to it
Hang
until
on
we're
to
ready
it
to
at the moment.
spend
It
it.
certainly won't come anywhere near us. No, unfortunately.
Good try, Jenny.
Yeah,
In the green.
yeah.
High interest savings account.
Yeah, so ongoing, and I'll keep reporting back and see what
Okay,
we've
well,
gone.
Good luck. Yeah, okay. We'll probably keep that on if you want us to. Keep it on the agenda. And just for it impacts on Thornton Le Dale upkeep and maintenance, doesn't it? And then if there's any work streams to come out of it, we'll be ahead of the game, won't we?
Yeah.
Okay, 151J to receive an update. Oh, an update on employment matters. So the last parish council meeting, I kind of walked out of here at 9:30 in the morning and got halfway home to be told that the legal bundle had arrived and to collect it in the morning. So very soon after the last parish council meeting, the employment tribunal legal bundle arrived with a summons to Leeds Employment Tribunal Court for Friday, this Friday coming, 6th of September. So that obviously relates to the action being brought against this parish council from the previous locum clerk, who's suing the parish council for a significant amount of money, £20,000+. And you may recall that the council resolved to defend that lawsuit because we felt that we wanted to safeguard public money, do everything we possibly could to save public money, given that the precept was only £45,500. We didn't want to lose half of it. And secondly, really, we just wanted to ensure that things were done properly. We've engaged the assistance from a legal firm, and I think they're pretty much good to go for Friday. So hopefully, next parish council meeting, we should have some more news about what happened at court. So that's the update on employment matters. 152, this is the agenda item that I've declared an interest in. So it's the planning applications or previous applications, decisions and updates. The first is 0572, and I'll just open it up to members. If there is any discussion points wish to be had, then please just, Jim, do you want me to leave the room?
You can if you like.
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Well, you-
No, it's just a
I don't
general
mind.
comment. Now, I was looking at A and B, and when I went into the planning site, it said no record found. Looked at D, no record found. And looked at F, no record found. So I don't have any information on it. I was trying to look at them. I've got information on C, the second B, D and C, but when I went to put the code number in, so I don't know what the A, B and C are, if anybody else does.
On the agenda,
Well, when you go to the planning site,
Yeah, I can't find anything.
you put the code in,
yeah.
and when you click on to look at the plans, it just said no record found. For A and B, I found C, you can see that, I wrote that one. No record found for D, and in the update decision, the first two are okay, and no record found for F, so I haven't managed to look at those, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry, but one of them.
there are only 3 new applications which we need to concern ourselves about.
Yeah.
The update decisions really is just a formality because they sit with the principal planning authority. So if we concern ourselves with the new applications, they are all on there.
And then obviously when they come into the inbox,
Yeah.
they're sent out straight away, so everybody
Yeah.
gets a copy of them.
Yeah,
Mm.
So obviously
yeah,
all the links are on there
yeah.
and the details of the planning is on that email as
It's just
well.
when you go on the planning site.
Have you gone into the links? So we linked to
Well, just go on the planning site. that's what
You've
I
just
do.
got to
Anyway.
put, you've got to put sometimes you can put, I don't know, 2023 instead of 2024. It's quite easy to.
I couldn't paste it across, so it shouldn't be a problem. No, I just said I can't comment on because I haven't seen them, so.
Okay.
If you've seen them, that's fine.
I've seen all of them. 0572, is there any comments with 0572?
No.
0584, any comments on 0584?
No.
And the last is 0454. Any comments on that one? No, I think
I think so. I think 5.4 is, I mean, there are a lot of local objections too. but it is specific to the adjoining properties. And I think the neighbours are taking up the case with the planning authority.
Yeah, that is correct. Okay, unless there's any other comments, we'll move swiftly on to 153. To receive and consider matters raised by the parish clerk and the RFO, the responsible financial officer. A is to receive current bank balances. So, Jenny, this is your bit.
Yeah.
Current bank balances.
Virgin money, end of August,
Yep.
is £22,983
Yep,
and 12 pence.
yep,
There's obviously a list there of the transactions that have been paid for
yep,
during the month, the debits. There's just one credit which is just snuck in on there, and that's the VAT reclaim,
yep,
which we were able to do following the audit.
yep.
So that's
Brilliant.
been paid, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Because obviously there were some changes that needed doing in terms of the address on the bank account, so it's
Yeah.
HMRC are happy with that.
Lovely.
So that's in. And the bank balances for Barclays. So in the community we have £360 and 17 pence. And obviously we had we paid the
PK, yeah, that had to come out of there because we
Yeah.
couldn't pay it out of the Virgin because we haven't got authority to pay that large amount, so
Yeah.
it had to come out of Barclays, unfortunately.
So hence that's why there's only that amount in there. And the premium Barclays is 52,669 and 59 pence, and that's at the end of August.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
B.
Good.
Yep, do you want to say
I don't-
something
I don't-
about balances?
I don't know if it's relevant, but we should be receiving our second half of the precept. I'm a bit concerned that we carry a lot of money in the Virgin money account, and I would be recommending that we transfer some over into Barclays for various reasons.
Can we not have that money sent into the Barclays?
We can, I think it'll cause awful problems because we've already given Virgin Money account a sort code and account number to North Yorkshire.
Yeah, and you've got to update it. You've had to update it.
Yeah, we've had to update it just recently. So I would suggest that either before it comes in or when it comes in, we seriously think about transferring money over into Barclays.
We normally get a remittance a couple of days before it
Yeah.
actually goes in, so at least we know it's coming in, and then we can move it straight away.
A, it's not earning interest in the Virgin Money account, which isn't the council any good, and B, I have security issues at the moment.
So how much are you thinking, because at the moment we've obviously got quite a bit in the Virgin, and obviously the main expenditure going out will stop probably going out in November, which is the grass cutting.
Grass cutting.
Yeah.
We'll
So-
have the lawyers to pay,
Yeah.
which is circa £6,000.
So we could take 10 out now.
I would suggest my suggestion was 10
now,
now,
and then when the precept comes in,
because we just paid the grass cutters, we just paid the caretaker for cemetery and caretaking works, so I would hope by the time that we have to pay them again, our precept should be in. So my suggestion to the council would be we remove £10,000 and put in one of the two Barclays accounts.
and what about when the precept, because obviously that will probably come in before the next meeting.
Yeah.
So do we want to try and agree that
Take some out of that and put it into Barclays.
agree that now, for when it does come in, that we can move it
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
needing another
Yeah.
approval, if we can approve it.
Yes.
When's it due? Precept?
Should
Well,
be,
it's September, so
Oh, right, okay.
it might be due any day actually.
I think it might come towards the end, but
I know the April one came in
Right, yeah.
the 19th, 17th and 19th, I think. So yeah, it could be within the next 2 weeks. But I don't think there's an issue with money at the moment if we transfer 10 from Virgin Money into a Barclay account.
do you want that to go into the, just the community, because there's nothing in there really?
Yeah, just
Is the
And
community a good rate of interest than the premium? Because the premium is 1.9.
No, not really.
None of them are great, are they? I mean,
No.
There's,
Premium's
there's no
obviously
interest
better.
on the community.
no.
No,
But, yeah, as a
we used
the
to have.
topic of interest,
Yeah.
for example, with the PKF payment, we weren't able to pay that out of Virgin because it was too big.
Too big.
Whereas we were able to pay it from Barclays straight away. So, yeah, for, just in case we have any large bills, I don't know what the threshold is for.
Well, we don't know, that's the problem, because they won't tell us, unfortunately. So if we come to pay the £6,000 and we can't pay it from now, we're going to have to pay that from a Barclays.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it makes
10
sense.
in there would be
It's the
different.
kids.
Yeah, I think so.
And what about when the precept comes in, assuming it comes in sort of middle of the
Well,
month?
I'm happy to propose the motion then. The first is to transfer 10k out of Virgin into Barclays. Just need a seconder for that. And all in favour? And then the second motion is when the precept does arrive, which is anticipated fairly soon, September time, that is transferred from Virgin to Barclays also for the reasons stated. Just need a seconder for that.
Yeah.
So you're talking
But,
about moving all of it?
Or a proportion of
Or a
it.
proportion.
I think a proportion of it.
Round
rather
it
than-
to 20.
Yeah,
20k
because we're going to have
But I think that needs to go into the premium straight into
that. Yeah,
into the premium.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's the motion. Seconder, and all in favour?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It makes sense, doesn't it? It's in the best interests of the finances. Right. C. We've done the mandate previously, haven't we? So let's move on to C. Consider payments received and for approval. So, payments received is just that HMRC one, isn't it, Jenny? 68716?
Received, yeah.
Received. Yeah, so if we move on to payments for approval, the first is £21.91 for Bromptons for the cemetery waste. All in favour of that one?
Yes.
That's everybody. The second is £115 to Advantage Web Design, which is our website host, isn't it? So all in favour of that one?
Yes.
Everybody, please, if there are any questions, jump in. 176 is for Hill Memorial Hall, and that's for the rental of the hall. All in favour of 176 for that one?
Yes.
That's everybody. Next we move on to the Royal British Legion, £25 for a wreath, and this was last year's Remembrance Sunday. So all in favour of that one? Thank you. HMRC wanted £176.95. We can't really say no, so all in favour. Penultimate one is Well Medical. Well Medical are the company that supply the defib pads and the battery, and you may recall for the last parish council meeting they were replaced at a cost of £310.68. So all in favour of that payment?
Yeah.
Thank you. And the last is £9.60 to Virgin Money, who want to charge us a bank charge. All in favour of paying that one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right, thank you.
Just an observation, Barclays don't charge us.
No, I would.
Oh, right, yeah, well, there's another reason to
Yeah.
go with it. Okay. And the TAs on here, Jenny? At the bottom, for from September, we've got Viking. Is
Well, I'm proposing to use them just because,
okay,
yeah, to be most cost effective, so
and
I just need
that's
some printing ink and copy of that.
printing ink and copier paper to the value of £60. All in favour of that? Thank you. And the last is to a J Collins. Clerk's overtime. Is that on the agenda? That's next. Right, before we approve that, I'll have to move on to item 153D to consider a payment for clerk overtime. So, Jenny and I have spoke recently about the work that she's been undertaking. A lot of it has been focused on the public inspection of accounts and the associated work around that. I won't go into too much detail, but it did take up a significant amount of the contractual hours. Now, the application for clerk overtime is not to allow Jenny to undertake that work because that has already been done. It's to seek approval for the work that she's about to do.
Yes.
Because contractually we have to seek in advance approval for any overtime to allow Jenny to do work. So I just really want to propose that the members authorise clerks overtime of £64.08, which equates to 4 hours, and for those reasons. So I need a seconder, please. Thank you, John. And a vote, all in favour of a bit of overtime for the clerk? Okay, thank you very much. So, jumping back then to the clerk's notes, payment for approval to a J Collins of £64.08 for said clerk's overtime. All in favour of that payment?
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Right, smashing. That was quite dynamic then, wasn't it? Jumping from one agenda item to the other. Smooth as silk. Jumping now to 153E, to consider and receive a further update on the public inspection and the new challenge received to the AGAR of 2023-2024. So, I can summarise it if you like, Jenny. So, members of the public did exercise their public rights to come and inspect the accounts of the parish council that were submitted under the AGAR process, and that is the accounts of 2023-2024, the details of which are available on the website, as too is all the AGAR paperwork. Having inspected the accounts of the parish council and considered the findings, the members of the public are not happy, so they have submitted a challenge to the external auditors, PKF Littlejohn. The identity of those members of the public is confidential and will remain confidential. The current position is that PKF Littlejohn, as the external auditor, are going to review the challenge and then decide whether to progress it or not. So I think we need to keep this on the agenda in case PKF Littlejohn do decide to progress, or more importantly, if the parish council are approached to give a response, which is a process we are all familiar with. Any other comments at all on that? No? Okay, thank you. 153F is to consider and receive scribe payments report. Is this you, Jenny, or?
It was just to say, because at the last meeting you said you agreed what report you wanted.
Yeah.
So that's now on the website. It's obviously available to all public to look at, and that's just basically all the payments that have gone out in this financial year. And I'll update that monthly.
Yeah, so this is the parish council's obligation to be transparent with our finances. I think it didn't come out of the audit, did it? But it was just something that we perhaps, I think yourself, decided that it would be a good thing to show the public what we spend your money on. So you can go on our website and there, what was it headed? Is it a monthly expenditure?
It's under accounts.
Under accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the last one that's on this, it's right at the top.
Yeah, okay. So if you want to have a look what the money is being spent on. Detailed cost centre, okay, and it's a scribe document and scribe produces it. It's something that the parish council at Thornton Le Dale's not done before, but we've decided to do, haven't we?
But it was part of our risk management document, which needs updating at some stage, but that's another thing.
I think it's really good. It's really good that we're being open about
Yeah.
money in, money out, and what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Good read.
Just to pick up on your point, that's the risk management document that the Finance Committee are going to review.
That's right.
Yeah, it is.
Right, yeah.
Trying to throw in a lone baller there, I thought. Oh dear. Okay. 154 now then is to receive new correspondence received by the clerk and any action required. A is Thornton Le Dale Website, Parish Council website, further changes, Jenny?
Yeah, they have been released and they are out there on the website.
Yeah.
There is still a few more things to do,
Yeah.
but yeah, certainly we've seen quite a lot of changes in the last month.
Yeah.
It's just been tidied up. Some of the links are like how to report, potholes, are now the correct links and so on. There is still the references to do regarding Rydale and County Council,
Ah, right, yeah.
but that's in hand. So
Okay.
that'll be done in the next.
So it's tidying it up, modernising it
Yeah.
and making it more user friendly.
Yeah.
And we've got a search facility as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
So you should be able to find stuff a lot better. Real good advancements and improvements on the Parish Council website, which I think really were overdue, weren't they? Splendid. 154B, the parish portal access.
Haven't we? That's my fault. I should have chased it. I haven't had a chance.
We haven't had an update?
Haven't had
No.
a proactive update, but I will.
All right, we'll leave it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. C, allotments, new release from Scribe.
Yeah, I just thought I'd put that on there because Scribe have released a facility to map. So you can map the cemetery. You can now map the
Is it
allotments.
better than cemetery?
I don't know. I think it's a case of trying it, and it's obviously an enhancement to what we've already got because we haven't got any mapping
Is there a cost?
We
No.
have got a map. It's on the allotments
on the allotment.
on the website, and it's just a square thing with all the different.
And where's that come from? Where does that come from?
I think the previous permanent clerk did it.
Well, this links in with obviously with Scribe,
Right.
and it links in with the invoicing, so it's obviously quite integrated. So,
Complicated.
well, I've yet to have a go at it, but it's there for us to have a go
Have a
at.
play with it.
Yeah, we can use it.
Right.
So, I think
Free
we
of
should-
charge?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So the plan is to have a look at that in the next month. It's only-
Okay.
They've only just released it.
Okay, let's leave it on there.
Yeah.
Have a look.
Yeah.
And report back, and if we like it, we like it. If we don't, we don't. D, cemetery, future planned audit and notice board contacts. We were going to get our contact details up in the notice boards, weren't we? Have we had a chance to do that yet? Don't think we have.
No.
Because you haven't been up there recently, have you, Rebecca?
No, I haven't.
Are you going up there soon?
Do you want me to put something on a piece of paper for you to print off? And it's just all the details. So. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's this future planned audit?
Well, I think that was one of the things that YLCA suggested
Right.
once we get the files back.
Oh,
Because we've had
See if
we've
anybody's moved.
we've had problems, in terms of when people want to reserve a plot.
I have had quite a
Yeah.
few people wanting to reserve a plot, but I've had one of the funeral directors encouraged me not to until we get our.
I think I'm going to stick my neck out and make a comment. It's a personal comment. It's nothing to do with the council. I think with all the problems that we have had over the last year or so, the cemetery and the associated historical documents and everything associated has been the biggest problem for us to overcome, hasn't it? And I hadn't even thought about an audit because we need to get up to speed, don't we, of
Well,
what's
it
happened.
was YLCA that suggested it when I explained
okay.
this situation we were in.
Yeah,
They suggested that once we get the documents back
yeah,
and how we then manage
Yeah.
that going forward.
yeah. I mean, Rebecca has done a fantastic job with the interments that we've undertaken to date. We won't go into details, but it's been extremely complicated, and if it wasn't for the help of other people, such as undertakers, very understanding families, and gravestones that we can read so that we know where people are, it's just been incredible. So let's keep this on. If YLCA can offer some sort of assistance with an audit, then when we do get the documents back, and I am hopeful that we will very soon. Then we can move that forward, can't we?
And can I know we've already covered Scribe, but it sort of links in with cemetery and
Yeah.
using Scribe and so on. But also another release with Scribe is, which might help with the assets, is that there is now a facility where you can take a picture of the asset, so like the bench, something,
Right.
and you can upload that and match that.
To what three words?
Yeah.
You knew all about this,
Yeah.
didn't you?
I don't know everything.
Biggest job, but
Okay, well we can link that in, can't we? Any other comments or that? No, right, smashing. I think I've said my piece. 154E. Remembrance Parade planning. Last year we left it very late. It was for the gracious, motivated and positive attitude of local residents and some frantic telephone calls undertaken by myself that allowed us to have a remembrance parade last year, and it went well. This year we are making plans already. I've submitted all the paperwork to North Yorkshire Council. It's an application for event on the highway and a permit as well, which is a separate form. They acknowledge receipt, and that is going to be considered forthwith. Hopefully no fee to incur. I'd like to think not. But then we will have to make contact with British Legion about a wreath, and local groups that, you know, the Girl Guides I think got involved. Martin, who's a local resident, is a major organiser, etc, etc. So rest assured, planning this year for Remembrance Sunday is ahead of the game. And I shall probably be coming to council for 25 quid for a wreath, probably.
But
Okay.
we'll pay it sooner rather than later.
We'll try to pay it sooner than 11 months after the event. But no, just another step forward. So, and Councillor Sarnes had emailed me today, and I hope you were pleased to hear that we're ahead of the game. Another part of the process, just for your general information, the last parish council didn't respond to North Yorkshire Council in a timely manner. In fact, they didn't reply at all. The consequences of that was Thornton Le Dale Parish Council were not included on a distribution list. So part of the county-wide planning for Remembrance Sunday, Thornton Le Dale Parish Council were the only parish council not to be involved.
Can I just say
Yeah,
that we were actually, because I
Yeah.
understood the problem, and I said, could you include Thornton Dale? So they did
We
put
were
them
on
on. They were you went on under the radar, but you were there, and we did pick it up.
We weren't on the circulation list that went to Lockton, and Jenny very kindly contacted me, and hopefully we'll be on next year's circulation email. But that's by and by. 154F, Restoring Nature Conference, Pickering and Rydale Environment Group. So we were contacted by the Pickering and Rydale Environment Group to promote a Restoring Nature Conference to take place on the 27th of September at Kirby Misperton Village Hall, helping town and pound councils to deliver nature recovery across North Yorkshire. And I think nature recovery is a modern term for nature preservation, isn't it? Rewilding. Speaking of rewilding, Councillor Goodson-Moore is going.
I am.
Yes, brilliant, thank
I
you.
think it fits nicely with the parish plan as well.
Ah, right,
So,
excellent, yeah, good idea. There'll be some speakers and exhibitors
Yeah.
there, but I will just promote it to the wider audience if anybody would like to go to the Rydale Environment Group conference on the 27th of September. Are we going to publicise it on the website? Yeah, we'll publicise it on our website, the details. Splendid. It's just nice that this parish council is going to be represented, and hopefully we'll do a bit of networking.
I'll try my best.
154G, all other correspondence, bracket, Rally Yorkshire, close bracket. I guess that's the rally cars that come to Dalby Forest every year, is it? And they're coming this year on the 27th, 28th. Okay, so that's just for our information. Any other key correspondence, remembrance, email from Highways, done that one.
Just the
Thornton Le Dale, done that. Done
online
that.
parking
Where's that?
on the client's notes on the back there.
Ah, yes, right. So we had a resident in the village sent in some correspondence which was essentially a complaint of overnight parking. The overnight parking is reported in the parking bays near you actually, Claire, along
Yeah, further up, isn't it?
along the front and further up to the disabled bays at the top. And we were asked to look into the legislation and what parish council could essentially do about it. And it was motorhomes essentially in a disabled bay. So we had a response from Highways, Andrew, who was extremely helpful. I learned something myself about this, so and I'll repeat just for your general information, and we're going to feed back to the original complainant. So the parking bays in this village that are restricted to 1 hour, and they are essentially along the front of Waldhills and along the front of Baldersons. They are legally governed by a traffic regulation order, TRO. And the TRO allows parking for 1 hour only between the hours of 8 and 6, I think it is. So before 8 there's no restriction, and after 6 there's no restriction, but between 8 and 6 it's an hour only. The hour only applies to everybody, including disabled badge owners. Where the confusion arose is that the holder of a disabled badge, blue badge, that can be driver or passenger, can legally park on a yellow line, whether it be single or double, for up to 3 hours.
But not out in front of us.
But not, that's my point, you're jumping ahead, Claire, thank you. So, because, and I didn't notice this before, the restricted parking bays don't have a yellow line in them. So a disabled driver can't park there for 3 hours. They can only park there for an hour. Unfortunately, we can't do anything after 6 o'clock, where somebody can park for as long as they like, because the restriction has stopped. Now, whether they're disabled or not, in a motorhome or in a car, they can legally park there overnight. So we're going to feed back to the complainant that if there is an appetite from local residents to have the traffic regulation order changed to no overnight parking or extend the hours, there is a legal process for that and a cost implication as well.
Could this go on the parish plan? Could this be part of
Well, I think
Well, it is one of the things in
parking-
the parish plan is like traffic management. Because one of the issues in the parish plan that they're going to ask questions about is, should there be permits for residents on the main road to push tourists into the car park? So it is one of it's not, it's just one of the debatable points that will be asked at the consultation event. So in October, after consultation, that'll be a question.
Can I make a point here? Because there's quite recently, within the last just slightly before COVID, we spent an awful long time with public consultations. We had 2 informal consultations, we had 2 formal consultations. We then started the major update of all the traffic regulation orders, and then COVID hit. And because COVID hit in the middle of the consultation, we had to start that consultation again. So there's been an awful lot of stuff done recently, in this village. And also, prior to that, we had issues with the people coming from the garage into the village hall and parking during COVID. So we had a look at issues around that. So there's been a lot of work done recently, and I would suggest that you keep public expectations. The other thing I was going to say was, regarding the motorhome parking, before you think about the traffic regulation orders, they're doing a pilot scheme in Scarborough where it's horrendous there, that because people are coming and taking 2 weeks holiday at the side of the road in the motorhomes, and Scarborough is being parked up. So they are running now a pilot scheme where they're going to stop motorhome parking throughout the day and overnight. So it might be worth just actually watching what the result of that pilot is before you make any move.
Yeah.
It's really helpful.
There is also another aspect to changing the current traffic order regarding overnight parking, because many people who live in the vicinity of the centre of the village are reluctant to park their vehicles on the car park overnight because A, national parks don't encourage it. In fact, they say don't park here overnight. And B, from a security point of view. And they, on a regular basis, move their vehicles from the car park and park in the village overnight and then vacate in the morning. So that would restrict the use of a lot of residents being able to park their vehicles within reach of their homes.
Complicated issue then, isn't it?
Yeah, nothing is ever straightforward regarding parking issues and school uniforms in every school.
Well, I think the view of the parish council would be that it wants to support parishioners, local residents, and if we banned overnight parking, that would impact on them, wouldn't it? I think in terms of motorhomes for the village, yes, it is annoying. Certainly outside Wardhills along here, if you get a particularly lengthy motorhome, the 840 and the 842 bus can't easily get past it. But I think really there's not much else we can do at the moment, and maybe there isn't an appetite to do so. So it's noted, and we will feed back to the complainant. Okay. Right, I think we're there, aren't we? 155. To receive matters raised by members for inclusion on future agendas and note outstanding matters for future agendas. I think we're going to bring a few things back, aren't we, Jenny?
Yeah.
There's enough here to keep us going. Biggest work stream will sit with the Finance Committee, which I dare say you'll bring back at some point.
Chairman, we want to be mindful of the fact that budgeting is coming up.
Yeah, good point.
And that there's several policies that want reviewing. The reserves policy wants reviewing, the financial risk policy wants reviewing. So yeah, major items really to be reviewed in the next 2 months.
Yeah, let's get them on the next agenda.
I'm already well on the way with each of these, but obviously between the Finance Committee and Jenny, we need to sit down and run through the budget for next year.
Yeah, okay. Smashing. And of course, we should have a significant update with regards to employment matters, and Wogan Tide doesn't go our way. It could have a significant impact on how we future plan with our finances, because we may not be able to afford to get the grass cut or anything, but we will see. It'll all be Dr. Doom. Okay, anything else for future agendas? No? Okay, right, well, the time. Oh, no, dates, 156. Future dates, 1st of October, 5th of November, 3rd of December.
On fire night.
Yep, stay away from the allotment, Rebecca. And on that note, at 8:25, I shall close the said meeting. Thank you very much for coming, everybody. It's a bit longer than I had hoped, but we got there in the end, didn't we? So thank you.